When we think about wisdom, we typically think of knowing how to do well financially, knowing when to speak and when to shut up, or how to give good advice. Most people imagine wisdom as the kind of thing you seek out sages and grandparent figures to attain, or which comes written in pithy proverbs we can hang over our desks and our kitchen sinks. Certainly, pithy proverbs are an aspect of wisdom. We have them in a list in our Bibles. But classically and biblically, wisdom means much more than this. Wisdom, to thinkers in pre-modern times, meant learning how to be a human well. It meant bringing ourselves into closer conformity with the way that God has designed His world. It meant looking for the divine design in nature and conforming our lives to that order for the purpose of pursuing that which is good, beautiful, and true. Most importantly, wisdom in this sense was not found in a single maxim, doctrinal commitment, presupposition, or what some have called a worldview. A person is not required to adopt a particular system of thought or to put on a special set of ideological glasses before discovering wisdom. Wisdom is not something that you either have or don't. It's a matter of less or more. So this means that by virtue of being created in God's likeness and living in His creation, all human beings are capable of and often do discover some measure of wisdom, pagans and God-fearers alike. Although Christians can and should be able to go much further than pagans, there are plenty of pagans that have put us to shame in the quest for wisdom, and they continue to do so. This is why the pursuit of wisdom has a classical name, philosophy, which literally means love of wisdom. But here we run into a difficulty. Often you'll hear Christians downplay or even criticize philosophy, perhaps calling it a pagan undertaking, or something futile without proper doctrines about God. What hath Athens to do with Jerusalem? Some have asked. That is, why do we need the insights of Greeks when we already have the revealed Word of God given to the Jewish people? Well, the reason really is simple. All truth is God's truth. And if an unregenerate mind grasps something that has been discerned through general revelation, he still grasps it. It's not any less true, good, or beautiful than things discerned only through special revelation, even though special revelation alone can make us wise unto salvation. This is why figures like Peter Damon and Thomas Aquinas called philosophy the handmaiden of theology. The two are meant to work together to make us wise, to teach us what it means to be a human will. And as image bearers by birth and children of God by the new birth, Christians have a right to all truth in His world, a world in which we share with those who have not received salvation, but who can, nevertheless, discern much of its nature. This is why Christians should welcome rather than reject the wise insights of pre-Christian and even pagan philosophers. The truth is no respecter of persons, and wisdom is not hidden away where only a certain type of thinker with correct presuppositions can find it. Reality doesn't require a secret decoder ring to understand. So when we appeal to unbelievers on the basis of what is good, true, and beautiful, we're not making a futile appeal. Now there's another important application to make here. Just as Christian conversion is not a prerequisite for gaining some measure of wisdom about God's world, it is not the only goal either. Certainly, the relentless pursuit of truth will ultimately lead an individual to worship the true God. But truth, goodness, and beauty are objective and objectively beneficial. To lay a hold of them and proclaim them is glorifying to God, even if the person proclaiming them does not yet recognize God. Finally, wisdom is a way of life. It's not an occasional fix that we apply and then put it back into our first aid kit. We're often tempted to think of wisdom as something we seek out only to solve our problems, or as good counsel in tough situations. But that's like thinking of health only as the medicine we seek out when we're sick. The pursuit of wisdom is much more like having a healthy everyday life. It's eating right, exercising, getting plenty of sleep, and yes, also seeking medical care when needed. Seeking after wisdom is the business of each moment and each person. The lifelong process of discerning the way that the world is and how we can best live in it. This means that to be philosophers, lovers, and seekers after wisdom is the job of everyone who wants to be fully and robustly human. We are all invited and commanded to strive after this precious gift, discerning the nature of God's good world and learning what it means to live in conformity with His design.